like 2 comments. So welcome to our August Power Hour. I am Tessa Chappell. I live in the humid, hot Indianapolis, Indiana, joined by Megan Jax, who lives out in the desert by Phoenix, in Phoenix. And we are here tonight to do 2 layouts for you. And today, or not today, a couple days ago, Megan and I were both like, oh yeah, it's time for Power Hour. She's about to host an event. I'm planning 2 events in September. And I said, what if we go back and choose layouts from one of our PageMakers classes? And she thought it was a great idea. And what I didn't tell her is I already had one in mind. I already knew which one I wanted to pick, but I let her, and she's like, how about one from Wanderlust? And I said, oh, great, I'll pick one from Wanderlust. What I didn't tell her is I already had one picked out that was Wanderlust. So it worked out well. We both chose Wanderlust to begin with. So PageMakers was back when we had time to do classes like that, we would choose a collection and make the layouts, and then CM kept selling out of stuff, and then we both got so busy doing our own thing, and now Creative Memories does a project guidebook. So we haven't done PageMakers since Christmas. Did we do one at all this year?
No, the last one we did was last Christmas.
Yeah, it was Christmas. So we would take a collection and make 6 layouts. So today we are featuring 2 layouts from our Wanderlust collection. Wanderlust was a travel collection. But the layouts are very versatile. So even those of you that joined us for Wanderlust, hopefully can see the layouts in a new light and recreate them tonight. So before we flip down, actually, I'm going to flip to my camera. We'll see how bad my desk looks. See if it... So, see, every time it is like way zoomed out. So it's like this mystery. Where will my camera look when I actually flip it on Zoom? Zoom is doing crazy things now. Megan seems to figure out how to get hers not to move ahead of time, but...
I use my phone, you use a webcam. It's just different.
I know. Well, it was fine until Zoom did something, and then now Zoom doesn't know that I've zoomed or whatever. Switch. There we go. It is a little crooked still. So here is the layout I'm going to create. So when we do PageMakers, we create the layout originally, and then we do it again during class. And so I have 2 layouts of this one, and I end up using it for a vacation, obviously. So here is the first one that I did. I did some peekaboo pockets over here. And then I just used my second copy, flipping the book again with peekaboo pockets here. So these 4x6 spots will be nice if you want to use 4x6 peekaboos. This one I did a double peekaboo. I flipped up and then I flipped over, and I have a note here I found today. Obviously there was some picture I need to reprint and then journal about it, but the peekaboos are nice. So I'm going to recreate this layout with Birthday Bonanza. I have some birthday pictures from my nephew's birthday, which happened to be on Easter this year. Birthday Bonanza had some bright colors. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to choose your paper, but first you'll need to choose, you need 3 papers that coordinate. 2 of them for the main part of your base paper. So you want to choose a paper that you want to see a lot of behind your photos. And then we want 2 coordinating papers. If you'll notice on your handout, we're cutting the one piece into 2-inch strips, and then we're going to have some mats out of it. I gave myself 3 choices of paper, so I want to use both sides of this. If you don't have a paper where you use both sides, of course, you can just cut them from different pieces. So the back side, the 2-inch strip, is going to go top and bottom of the solid I chose here, and then I'm going to see the front side of the mat on the front. And so I'm looking at the prints that I'm going to see the most of. I like this one a lot. I think I might use this one. The back of it is this color. Then I have this one, which I'd use on another layout. It's not my favorite print, but I'm not going to see a lot of it, but I had it with a green, so I have a little bit more contrast there. And then I have the balloons. The backside would have been yellow. I didn't really want to use that much yellow, but you can see with this collection, all of these papers are actually ideal. They have a print on one side and a tonal on the other. But I ended up choosing this one as the one I'm going to use with the bold stripes on the front, and then the back is kind of a dark sea green color. Then for my circles will be a third paper to work. I decided to use this confetti print, so I'm going to cut circles from that for the corners. And then we'll talk about the photos and mats when we get there. You will want to choose a knockout style BMC. I'm going to go with confetti for the birthday theme. A knockout style leaves straight edge, top and bottom. The bottom stays connected. You can also use an edge style if you want to. Just want to make sure that the design that you choose is okay upside and down, upside up, upside down. Same for the knockout, because we're going to punch both sides of the paper, top and bottom. You can also use the larger border punches if you have one that works for your design. It's just a little bit fatter of a design, so you're going to have a little bit less room in the middle for your photos. You will need your 12-inch trimmer. So I'm going to start with the paper that I'm going to use for the strips and the prints. And so if you look at your handout, you have to think a little bit about your orientation before you cut. You can see the 2-inch strips. That's the tone on tone on the back. There's no direction to consider. The 5 and 7-inch mats are going to sit horizontally on your page unless you adapt this. And so I want to make sure that I preserve my print this way. So I'm going to turn my paper to cut. So while the handout shows that I used actually the same on both, I used one side of the paper, top and bottom, I'm going to change it on this design today. So I'm going to see this print for the mats in the dark sea green as the strips at the top. Hopefully that makes sense. So I need 2-inch strips. I'm going to start with 4 of those. And then that should leave you, that's going to be 8 inches of paper, and it should leave you with 4 inches left. Whatever you have left, we're going to cut into 2 pieces, 7 inches and 5. If you are using a pattern, if it's going to matter how it sits across the page, if you want to maintain that look, the longer 7-inch side is going to sit on the left of the page. So we can cut the 7 inches first, and that should leave 5 inches over here. Then for your main papers, make sure you're comfortable with how they are going to sit on the page. You're going to see this large area. And then we need to cut 1 inch off the bottom. I'm going to probably save that one. I'm looking at the back, not that I'm going to use it on this, but I want to cut the paper so that whatever I save could be usable. I think I would use a strip like that. So I'm going to cut 1 inch. Mine looks the same no matter which direction I'm turning it. But wherever you cut that inch, either top or bottom, it's going to make it shorter this way. And you can save these. We're not using them on this layout, so you can just stick them in with the rest of your collection. Then I'm going to go ahead and jump down to cutting my circles. And I'm using the number 2 and the number 3 circles. I'm suggested using the blue blade on the handout. I'm going to adapt that a little bit because I chose a paper that is a white base print. I don't love the way light base prints look with just an unfinished edge. So I want to mat this paper on another color to use it on my layout. And so that means I want to cut my prints with the green blade. And then when I get to the final layout, I can decide what color I might want to, cut to cut behind, to mat behind these, and I will cut that one with the blue. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're not going to mat your paper, then just go with the blue blade. I'm going to cut on the outside of each. I did put the measurements on the handout if you are someone that uses the Cricut or something or some other way to cut your circles. They are 5.5 and 6.5 inches. And there's definitely room in this to be whatever size you want them to be. They're just larger. I'm going to keep these close because I'm going to choose a color at the end to mat these. And I might use like that, kind of like that aqua color. Okay, now I need to paper weld my piece. Oh, I need to punch first. I almost forgot the most important part. I'm going to punch the top and bottom of each of these, and I want to make sure that I'm punching on the 12-inch edges, not the 11-inch edges. This makes definitely some little confetti squiggles. Would be fun for those of you that like to make shaker cards. The confetti definitely gives you some nice surplus for that. You'll notice on our demo layouts, we both had chevron arrows because that was the punch that was launched with Wanderlust. Kristen, I could start saving all my paper confetti to send you. She's commenting that, I think it's Kristen that saves her confetti in a box when she wants to make cards. Done with my punching. Now I need to create my 12-inch layout. So the way that this is going to look once it's here is this is the piece that's going to be underneath of it. It doesn't pop as much as a color that was a little bit more contrast would offer, but I think the other option I could do if I wanted to pop that is cut a strip of something else to line behind. Maybe I could do some white. The white actually might be pretty. I might do that. Let me get a sheet of what do I have right here? I have white shimmer. Perfect. I'm gonna cut an inch strip and see how that looks. I like that actually. The white pops nicely. So I'll do that. I'm gonna cut 1-inch strips and adhere those first. So if the paper you chose isn't providing enough contrast for the two together, you know, maybe you'll choose another cardstock color, layer it in behind. And of course, the shimmers are always fun if one of those works, especially with the birthday layout. Need my silicone mat. I'm going to get the 12-inch out for this one. So step one will be to adhere my white shimmer with repo tape, of course. There we go. Get these along the back. Birthday Bonanza is not Megan's favorite collection because of the pink and purple, but this was my nephew's birthday, and like I said, it was on Easter. And so I thought that actually it was a good collection to kind of combine the two themes. I still need to dig through my stash. I have more layouts than the one you're going to see tonight, but I need to find some bright colored Easter embellishments. Usually they're pastel. Because for a different layout, we have an egg hunt, so I wanted to add a little bit of Easter embellishment on those. Okay, so there's that popping out there. Yeah, there was a question in the chat. If you're using a punch that is directional, like we do the chevron arrows, and you want to change the way that it's orienting on your page, you would flip your paper over to punch it again. So if you're using one that you're not sure about, grab a scrap sheet of paper. It doesn't need to be a full 12 inches, just punch both sides, kind of see how that design works together. Before I punched these, I trimmed them down to 11 inches. And then I added in the step about matting these. It's not on your handout. And now my next step is to create a 12-inch page. So I'm going to flip these to adhere from the back, although because I have now matted these, I actually wouldn't even have to flip it, because now I could put the adhesive on the back of this strip to layer on here. It makes it a little easier. Because I cut off an inch, it's going to be half an inch showing at the top and bottom. Not quite over, so I need to center that a little bit more. You can also flip it over if that's easier for you. That's where the 13-inch mat comes in very handy. Be generous with the tape if you want to. And then if you want a little bit extra security on the back, you can always go through with some washi tape or photo tape or photo splits along here to secure that. I have some old frosted splits, so I'm going to do my edges to help them not get snagged. I am using the confetti border maker cartridge. And again, you can use a border punch. Those are just usually larger designs. And you can also use an edge style. You're just going to have a little bit more starry. Would have worked. The other one I looked at was from the secret box. I think it was called Dancing Stars is a knockout. Is it Mosaic Diamond? Not Diamond Windows. Mosaic Diamond. Is that the right name? That one's a knockout. animal tracks. If you think of any other ones, you can put them in the chat to help people along a little bit. Zebra stripes is pretty close. My method is just usually sit in front of my carousel and spin it and look through all the designs. I don't have them memorized by any means. Yeah, footprints and flip-flops, candy cane stripes. The linear plaid one, it's kind of was not the most favorite Christmas design, but linear plaid actually is pretty versatile for a generic design, and it's a knockout, so that might be a good opportunity to pull that one out if you need to give something some love. And so that one is a good one too to pop in color behind it that has a high contrast. I'm going to highlight that design a little bit. The carousel that is from Stamp and Storage, I don't know, well, you can't see it behind me now, but they're from Stamp and Storage. Meggan and I always share the link, but they have BMC carousels and punch carousels. Mittens and Flurries, the crabs. Yeah, some good one in the chat. Heather's asking about, I do have my large tape. I have my jumbo tape right here. It just has regular tape in it, not repo. So I haven't used it yet. Okay, so here's my base layout. And then what I have left, I have my 2 circles. I still need to decide about what color I want to put behind the white. And then how I want to orient these. I think I might keep the yellow down. Layer it, if you want to layer it behind here. This has some wiggle room. You can adhere it, whatever looks best, whatever works with the photos that you're putting on the top. You have space over here for a 4x6 mat. And I did go through. It's funny. How many of you guys have used the birthday bonanza? I was going through the mats and I was like, did somebody get confused in the mat pack? Some of them were so pastel. There's one of them that's like straight up Easter, like it belongs in springtime soiree. I don't know what they're thinking. It's a hard kind of to find some choices that would work. So I found a few. I found this one is about the only one kind of with a sentiment on it, but I did like the dark sea green and the stars play out the confetti. Over here I have 2 choices. I have this one that has the same striped design. I'm going to layer the circle probably up here. I might pop this circle out a little bit like up here. Or I have this one that kind of pulls in the circular things. I think I actually like the stripes. They're a little bit smaller, but this also has a mark on here. I'm not even sure what that's from and how you probably can't see it. I strategically have to put a sticker on there. I think I'm going to go with that one. And then for my photos, I already pre-cut them a little bit. This one is going to go here. I think I still need to trim that one. Maybe I want to do that one over here. Cut that one down. So they had like, is this like an air rocket? I think it's called, that my Cooper was messing around with some of the kids with it, where you like step on it and it shoots in the air. And then down here they had one of those confetti guns. Is that what they're called? I've never got one before. They use them for like the gender reveal parties. And this one did multicolored confetti. You get the confetti theme now. We all get it, right? Confetti in the picture, confetti in the border maker. Don't you love it when it all comes together? So now my last step is to decide before I hear this, do I still want to put a color behind my circles like I thought? if I did, what color would that be? Or am I okay with the white? I actually like the white better than I thought I would. I'm thinking about what color I would use. I don't want to get too much contrast because I feel like what?
Remove the put them on your table. Take the mats off. The blue is running into the gray. It's getting really hard to get an idea what the pages look like.
Take the pictures off?
No, the cutting mat. No. The pictures on. Take your pages off the cutting mats.
Oh, the thing.
There. Because it just felt like it was one big gray blob.
Yeah. Mm. It is a little washed out.
It wasn't so much. It just that blue that you did as your top edge and your bottom edge is just a little. Yeah, I would pop in like somebody commented like popped in a little bit of pink or something.
I mean, I could choose. Yeah, I was thinking about the turquoise. One of these colors, obviously.
What about some of the yellow? What if you popped in like a little sunshine or something like that? A yellow sun. It's that neon yellow you love so much.
I know. So there's some of the choices would be like the purple, the darker purple, the lighter purple. I could also go into the paper, which is, this is the pink in the paper. It would brighten it up. I'm just like not sure I actually want to brighten it up that much.
So you're looking for the circle mat. I wasn't paying attention. I would either go, yeah, you could pop that green behind it, or I go with the yellow.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not arguing it wouldn't look good. I'm obviously very unconvinced. And this is meant to remind myself it actually doesn't matter. Do you guys all like to watch me stare at it for a while? And Jenny's like, when in doubt, it's always yellow. I don't, Megan might agree with that, but I would not agree with that. Yellow is rarely the choice. It's very intentional. I kind of like more the monochromatic purple, like someone suggested too. I wanted more monochromatic on this layout, which is why I chose. I know these don't have a lot of contrast. That's not it's not the vibe I want, as the girls would tell me. It's not the vibe, Mom. Got it. And this would be the turquoise, which I think is too close. I don't think I can go there because of that color. It needs to be more. I think I actually might do like eggplant or dark purple. And not just because Megan suggested yellow. The other option would be the green, the lighter green, because it does have these stars in the, let me look at my greens. This is when Megan needs to make my swatch ring, so I just have them all handy.
You're a big girl. You can make your own swatch ring.
The marsh green actually might work. I think I would be okay with that. It's kind of that same color green there. Okay, that's what I'm gonna go with. Marsh green. Megan, yes, Kristen.
If I told you I'd make her one, there's nothing I have ever said I would make Tessa. I'm just going to tell y'all right now.
No, she did. And Kristen's now my witness. Now I'll have to remember where you said it. You posted it. It's in writing somewhere.
I lied.
Nope. I'm gonna
actually. I have one. I will bring to you. It's got the basic colors on it. You have to add your other special colors.
Well, I can make my own basic one. Angie's already working on that. I need one with my whole collection.
I'm not sitting through your scraps.
Every paper buffet we've ever had, and all the old CM colors too, would be my preference. Megan and I have this debate all the time because people love, many of you are those people also that like to know what colors coordinate with the collections that come out. And the problem is Creative Memories will only ever suggest on the paper pack the color that's currently available for you to buy. But the problem is that's not always the best choice. Sometimes the best choice of a green is one that came in a paper buffet 6 months before that or 3 years ago. And they're
Yeah, but
never going to tell you
they're
that.
never going to do that. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I think my issue is more is sometimes the colors they choose, I don't even think of the current ones are always the best.
Yeah, I mean, we all know they should ask Megan pretty much anything to do with design or color.
No, not no. I have opinions.
She has opinions. Okay. I won't make you guys all watch me glue it on because I've already gone over my time debating this bar. But this will be, I do like the green. I'm happy with that. I did cut my photos down. So these are 4-inch mats that cardstock is. I cut the photo down to like 3 and 13/16 basically. It's 3/8 of an inch off each side so that I could just use 4-inch mats. It preserves the cardstock. Makes the cardstock go a little farther. I agree, Shannon. It makes me happy. That's all that matters. And I'm not a people pleaser. I don't care what Megan says. If it doesn't make me happy, I'm not going to go along with her. Usually. I mean, sometimes I do let her win. We all have to make compromises in relationships. Business partners are no different. But this is my scrapbook and I will choose. Okay. Yep. So these were trimmed down. Scraps in there. And I'm going to trim this one down to fit on here. And then this wood here next to that. And I will layer in my circles. And you can move these around depending on how much you want to see. And then whatever is peeking out wherever you put it. And if your photos are smaller, you can push all of this up also if you would rather have the extra of your circle down. But wherever that circle pops out and peeks out is where you want to add a little bit of embellishment cluster in the colors that you already have. And it doesn't have to be anything big, but it could be a title, it could be stickers, embellishments, whatever that would be. So I don't have peekaboos for this one. I did on the ones I showed you, but yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I don't have photos. I'm just going to have another layout for the egg hunt part. So this would be a good spot for a peekaboo if I wanted to cut these smaller or overlap them. I could actually have done something like that. And now I kind of want to mat my mat. I might put the green around the mat too. We'll see. You'll see when I post the finished layout. Okay. I'll give
I
you
think the sun punch would look glorious on there in yellow.
the sun. Okay, maybe I'll add a yellow embellishment for you. Would you have a specific yellow you would like me to pull out of my rainbow? Daffodil,
Lemon.
canary, lemon. Okay, lemon. I have lemon.
I'm assuming, I don't know. Where's my swatch? I'll tell you what color is gonna look good. It's gotta be
That's
one of those
true.
crazy yellows. It's one of the two yellows that I don't have labeled because I didn't know which one was which.
And what are the two options?
Well, the
Lemon was an
one's not
old
labeled. They're not labeled. They're
old
two of the
CM
softer
color.
yellows that we had that are like in that canary realm, but a little bit more green yellow compared to the warm golden of canary.
Yeah, I'll see how close I can get to the yellow down here. Which might be, do you have daffodil? Does that look too,
It might be, it's either, I think it's either daffodil or lemon. Because
I'll work on
I
that.
have buttercup is labeled solar yellow. It's got to be either daffodil or lemon. Are those the two colors of cardstock we had that were yellow
Daffodil for
in
sure. I
buffets?
I thought lemon was an old CM color, but it is along that line. Butter, I think, is a little creamier. Jenny's suggesting that. And I don't, am I the only one that has yet to use solar yellow? I've never literally even opened it. I'm not sure what it actually goes with, coordinates with. Adventure
Which one?
Parks, Solar Yellow.
It's pretty bright.
Yeah, I've never used them. Vulcan Green, never used. Light
I
Lime,
have
never
not
used.
used. I'm going to tell you which yellows we've had. It's either light yellow or daffodil yellow. We had a honey mustard in there too, but I don't know. I have on my cardstock
Well, this
list.
is Daffodil is my lights are so bad. This is Daffodil.
I'll trust you to make the choice. I'll
Thank
trust you.
Oh, thank
Use a
you.
scrap. Go get your scraps out, whatever scrap you have that works. It's just a sun.
It was just a sun. Okay,
Just a sun.
it's just a sun.
Do I get a turn now?
Okay, wait, I want to know. So you have to tell Lauren use Solar Yellow a lot. So put in the comments what you're using it with, because maybe I just need to open my mind.
I asked that question in my Facebook group about what products Creative Memories has retired or sold out of that they miss. And there was quite a few people who like goldenrod, which
I know it's the worst color ever, but then again, Solar Yellow
no,
compared to that, I would
no,
choose
I wouldn't say
goldenrod.
it's the worst color ever. I mean,
I
there
said
have
it was
been
the
some
worst color.
others.
Tangerine actually might win. Worst.
Tangerine's up there, but some people love tangerine.
I know. It just
How about
glows.
what was that green color we had for a long time? It took them forever to get rid of it.
The light lime?
Maybe that was it. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Someone hates canary too.
See, but Jenny, aren't you the one that recommended yellow for everything? And she doesn't even like canary.
Yeah,
Canary's
that's
grown
weird.
on me a little bit.
Yes, but
I-
canary is not a real yellow. It's just not. It's not.
She's like,
I'm a color theorist, and that is not a yellow. Sorry.
it's a little to the goldy warm side
more of
of
a
yellow. I
cream.
agree with you.
It's a neutral. It's in the
I would
neutral
like
color category.
buttercup. If we're bringing back a yellow, it's going to be buttercup. That to me was the best yellow we've ever had. Generic, across the board, useful yellow was butter. All right. I guess it's going to be my turn now. Let me switch over to me. There we go. All right. So welcome. I'm Meggan Jax. Yes, so some of you are saying you can't really tell the difference. Some of you can. I went to the dermatologist today, so I have a little band-aid on my face, had a little thing taken off, no big deal. It was just like an elective. I'll just face like this as I talk to you guys. You see my band-aid. Yeah, I picked Tessa. She says, let's just go with something for page makers. And I have a big event this weekend. And I was like, okay, sounds great to me. But then I spent a still ton of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do, right? Because I had to come up with a border and all this other stuff. So yeah, fun times. I'm gonna switch over to my overhead camera and we'll just get rocking with this. There we go. Yep, here we are. It's upside down. Hold on a second. There we go. That's better. My camera, when I do lives on Facebook, it has to be rotated the opposite way. It's kind of silly. So my layout, and I meant to grab my Wanderlust, but here you can see it. I always liked this layout. I really like the Wanderlust had the cute little like mats in there. And of course I love chevron arrows. Really liked all parts of this. I haven't used this layout at all. It's in my book of samples somewhere. I just didn't dig it out, but I thought I would make it. And I decided I was going to do it with some Croptoberfest from last year. So I grabbed a couple of sheets, this paper with this pretty sunflowers and the aqua. Love, love, love. And what I really liked about it is I like the other side. When you're picking out your layout, your papers here, we're going to be using 2 sheets of the same, and you really are going to want to like the opposite side. So when you're comparing, you want to see some nice contrast between the 2 of them. So this works out here. I've got the darker aqua colors in here with those yellow sunflowers. And on the front, I've got more of a tonal. And having that tonal piece of paper on here is going to be nice because we have a little bit of flexibility whether or not we need to use mats. If I were to reverse it and have the sunflowers be on the front, I would really probably need to use mats. I would have probably chaos of my photos going up against the chaos of the paper, and it just wouldn't work. You need a mat to buffer. You can't have like chaos and chaos touching each other. You need to have a more of a tonal or solid color mat helping keep the chaos away. But when you've got a tonal paper, there's not as much chaos. So you can probably mat directly on here if it works for you. If it doesn't, coming in something like here, you could pick a complementary matte color that goes with your photos, because we do have the sunflowers, and you can see here I am pulling in, I've got some brown shimmer, gold shimmer, and parakeet shimmer. So right there, I have some options for matte colors. But I've got 2 sheets of the same color or same paper. I do need a some paper that's going to be my accent strips. We're going to kind of do, it's like an over under weld. We're going to create some strips of paper. We're going to cut our paper, and then we're going to layer in a piece that you will see the top of it on top of the sunflowers, but the underside will be on top of the other piece. It'll make sense once we start doing it. But what you're looking for when you're trying to figure out what you want is you're going to go ahead and kind of imagine this. I like the gold. I think it's a nice contrast in here. I think that's going to work out really well. I tried the brown and I tried the green, and I just didn't like it. I really wanted kind of that bright pop. I mean, the brown isn't too bad. It actually looks better on camera than it does in person, I think. I don't know. Maybe the gold is a little too much. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm going to do brown. I'm going to change my mind. I reserve the right to do that. So I'm going to be cutting my strips. Tedra says she likes the gold, but I think I'm just going to do, I'm going to do the brown. This border is going to sit on there, and I think it'll look nice. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our designer paper, and we're going to make a U-shaped cut, a U-shaped frame that goes around. So let's go ahead and grab our trimmer and do that. I'm going to rotate my mat to this, or my paper to this, my trimmer to the side, and I'm going to line up my paper here at 1 inch, just to the south of my cutting line here, 1 inch. Close my mat. Now, what you can do here is I want to remember, wanted to grab a Post-it note. I want to remember I'm cutting a U shape. If you've got a directional paper, imagine this is the top edge of your paper. On this sheet, this is going to be my left edge. I do not want to cut here. I want my U shape to go like this. On my next piece of paper, I don't want to cut this side. So I'm going to grab another Post-it note, and I'm going to mark that side. So you might need to do this if you're using 2 sheets of paper, especially if they have a direction to them. You want to keep track of where your tops are, because it matters. You don't want to cut them both the exact same and then have to rotate and find you have upside down hearts, trees, or something else. So I've got my Post-it note to the side over here. I am going to cut, I'm going to start my cut at 11 inches. I'm going to line up my white line at 11 inches. And I'm going to cut all the way to the right. This next piece that I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate my paper. So now my top edge, my non-cut edge, this is the middle of my layout, is at the top. I'm going to put it at 1 inch again. And this time I need to cut from 11 to 1. So I'm going to start at 1. My edge of my paper is lined up over here by the logo. I'm starting at that white line at 1, and I'm going to come all the way over to 11. Now here you have the option, you can feed it in just like this, and you would cut from 1 all the way over. You can also flip your paper over. I'm going to leave it up this right side up. This is my middle, or the middle of my layout. I'm going to start at 1, and I'm going to cut all the way over to the end. So I cut out that middle section. This is my my left page. And now I'm going to cut my right page. Again, this is the top edge of my paper. I've got my Post-it note over here on the left edge, reminding myself I don't want to cut this side. I am making my C shape this direction. So here I'm going to cut. I'm going to start at 1 for this set piece. Start at 1 and cut all the way over. Rotate my paper 90 degrees, again, lining up at that 1 inch below the cut line. Flush over here with the logo. And this piece, I'm cutting 1. I'll start at the 1 and cut over here to 11. If you're not comfortable making these kind of cuts, this is a great time to grab some scrap paper, your cover sheets, and play around with it until you get the hang of it. It's a little different than doing the frame cuts, just because you got to keep track of where you're making the cuts. This piece, I'm going to start at 11 and cut all the way over. So now, let me move some pieces out of the way, show you guys. I got they're more like C's rather than U's, I guess. The two. So I've got that frame. What I'll be able to do here is I can flip my paper over. If you have a directional print, you can flip side to side. Now you're thinking, Megan, they don't fit. You've got to have some way to weld them together. And that's what we're going to cut our strips for. So I'm going to be using the brown shimmer paper. And I'm going to cut 6 3/4 inch strips. So 6 strips that are 3/4 inch wide each. I am going to use a decorative blade. I'm going to use Wave, something simple. 3/4 inch. You can make them a little bigger if you want. If you want a bigger piece to work with, you could. When I put them at 3/4 inch, because remember when we do PageMakers class, we're really bound by certain sizes and amounts of paper. So I did these at 3/4 inch so that I would have extra bits of this paper to use in another project. Here, I don't care so much about that. So if I want to make them 1 inch, I can make them 1 inch. If you're using a paper that you're not trying to stretch how far it goes, you can make them wider if you're more comfortable using wider pieces. I'm comfortable with that 3/4 inch, so that's what I'm going to cut. When you're using a decorative blade, make sure you're giving a nice firm pressure all the way through. You do not want to have to recut with a decorative blade. So there's 4. I need 2 more. All right, now we're going to use these to do an over-under weld, well, what I call an over-under. First thing we're going to do is we're going to lay these on here, and we want to be over. And we're going to be over, I say a 1/2 inch down from the top, or 1/2 inch from the outside edge. So it's going to overlap by about 1/4 inch. You want to dry fit it on there just to see what you think, you can definitely do so. So my welding piece is over, it's on top of my C-cut piece, and then it will be under this matte piece here. So that's why I call it an over-under weld. We're over one piece and under another. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these on. Depending on what you've got, you might need to use a mini tape runner. Let's see, grab my mini. Working with a little bit narrower piece, or what you can really do is just come along that inside edge of your piece here is going to be easier, the U shape. And I got to put my glasses on, I can't see. You can always use the mini tape runner to kind of get things going and then flip it over on the back side and use some tape chips to reinforce it if you feel like you need to. The mini tape runner does a pretty good job though. I'm lining it up on my cutting mat because I am going to use the cutting mat to help me position. And don't worry if you go edge to edge. You can go edge to edge. We'll come back in with some scissors and we will trim, we'll clean that up. You could also leave it if you like that look. I'm going to do both sides and I'll come in with the scissors and clean up that edge. I mean, something like this, if I'm doing this out, like this has kind of a country vibe to it by doing that, the overhang there. So that might be something that is, I should just keep. I don't know why it says it has a country vibe, but this does.
Megan, your parents live in the country. Do they do sunflowers?
No. I'm not 100% sure why my mom does not do sunflower. Well, I take it back. Sometimes she does. She does various things. I don't know whether they have a deer problem. I don't know if deer eat sunflowers. They have deer, a lot of deer. And I think it's just something that they also run into situations where you have to stake them. They get a lot of wind. They're kind of up on a little bit of a hill. So they'd have to find the right side of the house that doesn't have the wind. I tried growing sunflowers in Washington. I don't know how successful. I was mildly successful, I think one time. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of worry. Did somebody say that deer don't like sunflowers? Because I really don't know.
They said that
Deer eat everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Here the sunflowers get massacred by the finches. The birds just decimate them.
That was in Washington. I think the issue I had in Washington was trying to get it so that the wind wouldn't carry them off. Okay, before we do that, we need to do the miter cut. We're gonna come in here. I'm gonna lift my paper up. I'm gonna get my scissors under here. And I'm gonna cut corner to corner. I'm gonna use my bigger scissors because those aren't gonna go all the way. You want to get in there and cut corner to corner. And that's going to give you that nice miter. And then you'll come in with maybe some repo adhesive or something under there. And yeah, my mom grows. I mean, she does a lot of vegetable garden stuff, and she does have flowers, but she gets mad. She gets so mad at the deer. I mean, they're not eating her veggies. They're going after her. They have some apple and fruit trees they like to go after. And she has to keep the bunnies out of things as well. In Washington, we had huge issues with bunnies. I hated the bunnies. Bunnies are not my favorite.
No, they like to come through and eat several of my plants too.
Well, we actually ran a lot of issue into with the bunnies too, was you try so hard to have a beautiful lawn and they're terrible about bringing in other junk into your yard through their poop, right? Whatever they eat, the seeds, that's how they spread it. I mean, these plants rely on between birds and bunnies and other animals. They rely on them helping spread their seeds, and it's annoying. Annoying. Okay, so I've got that all set up, got those corners mitered. Now it's time to add these on here. And I'm going to do that. I only need to put the adhesive on 3 sides. I do not have, we have bunnies here in Arizona. We have some regular rabbits besides jackrabbits. Jackrabbits live out in the desert. In town here, we have just regular, maybe a little bit different than what we had in Washington, but for the most part, they're the same. And, but they can't really get in my backyard too easy. They do hang out in the front yard. Kitty thinks they're delightful when she gets to spy one. So here I'm just centering it out. It should be sit at 1 inch. We have a nice big chunky bit of that bronze or that brown shimmer showing. Over here, we'll do the same. Now I am just going to double check because I don't think I have much of a direction to my paper, but I want to make sure that it truly doesn't matter. Sometimes even though we think there's no direction, there actually is. But this one appears to not be much thing. All right, getting that final piece in, get everything a nice, firm bit of pressure to get that adhesive all engaged. Like I said, if you need to, you can flip it over. I mean, oh, look at that's really pretty too. By golly. Look how that's pretty impressive. Oh, except for one, I had one side that I didn't use the thing didn't show. I didn't use the decorative. I had a straight edge. Anyway, got some options. All right, so now it's time to utilize our border detail. You can use whatever borders work for you. You may have laser cut borders that are already all set to go, stickers. The thing is, in the design I show you, we do one that's horizontal and one that's vertical. You may need to mix that up depending on what you've got going. I went ahead and created just a couple of borders that are that fit my theme. So I used the sunflower punch, had to go dig that out. And I give you some directions on where to place it, but it really depends on the rest of your positioning. So if you want to follow the same kind of grid situation I've got going here, I use some 3.5 by 5s. I give you the measurement and I tell you down here, you'll need to put the bottom edge 5.25 inch from the top. So 5.25 would be right here for me. I come down from the top 5.25, my bottom edge is going to sit there. And that should allow me to put 3.5 by 5 inch photos in here. And I should be able to do 3 of them right across. It's a very tight fit. You don't see a lot, but because I've used a tonal paper, it should work out just fine. If I had this more decorative paper behind there, it would be a little bit harder to, a little more distracting. And if you need to, you can put 3.5 by 5 inch mats and then come in with like 3 by 5 photos or adjust however you want. And then over on the side over here, the spacing works out so that your 3.5 by 5 fit sideways. And then you do have some space over here to go 3.5 inch wide again, but you're going to have a little bit shorter if you want to have 2 photos in there. But I have the measurements in there in the handout. Now, the next part that's kind of that we want to do is this detail up here. In the original with Wanderlust, they had, of course, that half circle mat. You could easily do something similar. I've got the mandala, the sunshine mandala, whatever it was, circle punch that I used. So I've got that all set to go. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. I am a little higher. My border is a little wider. I don't have as much space up here at the top. So I have to make the decision, do I want to bring this down to get a little bit more space in here? Or what do I want, how do I want to do this? It really looks like a sun peeking up as compared to a flower. But I think that's going to be okay. It gives me a little bit of a space for embellishment or a little bit of a title, some words in there. So let me adhere this on and do some cutting. Come in here and trim this up. It probably could have switched out my why does everything look like it's tilted? It's because my paper wasn't on here straight. If your paper's not on straight, but you're trying to use your cutting guide or your cutting mat to line things up, you're not going to have much success. So there we go. We're starting to see how that can take shape in here. So that's going to work out really well. I don't have any photos right now to work with this, so there's not much customizing I can do. I would, just pretty much sticking with the same photo sizes as I show in the handout. But you, of course, have lots of options. I could come in and do like opposites. If you have a lot of vertical photos that you want to showcase, I could come in with my other half of my designer piece. And I even could have just stuck and not even used the brown there. I wanted a little bit of contrast that you could see. You could, just really mix it up. Come in with a circle right here would have been neat to do. I could have come in with the whole kit and caboodle here if I wanted to somehow make this a big circle and put a circle photo in there would have been pretty too. Lots of ways to be able to customize this. And of course, you have just the basic background to work with. So, all right, that's what I've got for you guys. Let me switch back up to my regular camera. And thanks for joining us for our August Power Hour. We will have a September one. We don't have a date yet for that, I don't think. I don't know. We have to talk about that one because I'm going to be in Indiana for like half the month. And so apparently I'm making swatch rings for Tessa and like fixing her hose. And I don't know, she's going to have like a Meggan to-do list, which is hilarious because I can't even do my own to-do list. So, we will see what happens for September, but we will get you a date. I'll talk with her after this and we'll get that figured out. Summer scrap is wrapping up for those of you who joined us this summer. Thank you so much. It was an absolute delight. The survey was posted into the group. Are you sending an email also with that out, or they need to get it from the group? She's nodding her head yes. So if you're in Summer Scrap, you can go to the group. It's in one of the guides to get the survey. You can also, you'll get it in your email. And then Winter Challenge, the Winter Scrap Challenge, that's going to open up like maybe in like October, early November, somewhere in there. But that runs right after the first of the year. For the first 8 weeks of the year, we make it really easy to get through the just terrible time that winter is. So we give you 8 weeks of a lot of fun, a lot of scrap time. And so we look forward to that. I'm trying to think what else. Is there anything else? Oh, Croptoberfest. We decided the 18th?
18th.
She's nodding her head. Yes. I'm supposed to have done the graphic for this and I haven't. September 18th is going to be our free Croptoberfest workshop. So we put together the project recipe, we put together the project booklet. Now, one thing to note, those items are going to open up for customers to order August 24th, I think 25th. There will be a free shipping opportunity with that. So yay. So one thing to note, and we'll have all the details, is in previous years, there's always been like a one-click bundle to get you that project recipe and get you the project booklet. This year, you're going to need to put two things in your cart. You'll need the project recipe and you'll need the project bundle. And that's going to give you everything you need for the project workshop that we're going to do. You can add on the punch if you want. There's a beautiful album, all sorts of great products to go with Croptoberfest. But the two things you will need for that project workshop are the project recipe and the project bundle. We will make sure it's very clear in our communication. It's a free class. Registration will open. You will need to register for the class if you want to attend the live Zoom. If you don't care about the live Zoom, you can just catch it once it comes out on our YouTube channel. We do put it out there, but September 18th with products opening for everyone to order on August 25th. All right. I think that's all we have, right? She's giving me the thumbs up that I covered everything we have. As always, if you have questions, give us a shout or send us a message, ask in the Facebook group. If we don't know the answer, there's usually somebody who does. Just a reminder, there is a hashtag on your handout. When you post your layouts, be sure to use that hashtag. A quick note about using hashtags in the group. We've used the hashtags, but when you go to search for the hashtag, go to the actual, instead of clicking on the hashtag to see everything from August Power Hour or July or June or whatever, go ahead and go up into the search function and type in that hashtag. That will give you all the results within the group. This also works in the virtual crop group. So Facebook used to be really nice and they made them clickable and it used to stay just results within the group. But now if you click those hashtags in the group, it gives you everything from Facebook in general. So you'll see some random person who's using August 2025 pH that's posting about, I don't know, they're chemists and they're doing pH tests on something. If you want just the group, you can go ahead, use it in the search bar of the group. It works in all groups. So instead of clicking the hashtag, just search for the hashtag within the group. Okay, that was Tessa's got, she's raising her hand. What now?
People, can you clarify what your punch was? It is Sunshine Mandala.
Yes, Sunshine Mandala. Where is it? I had it out here. I was going to show you guys. It's a circle punch and it came out in a promo. I don't know. I put it away. Oh, here it is. Sunshine Mandala. Sorry, it was part of a promo. I felt bad using those things because you can't even get sunflower anymore. That was another one that people wanted to see come back. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm hoping we see a new circle punch sometime. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few. That's 4 now, right?
4. We've had 4, but it's been a hot minute since we had. Was this last summer that this one came out? Yeah. No, I don't know. Because did it come out with Lighthouse? Same time Lighthouse did?
Yeah, it was in May, so either 23 or 24.
I think it was 23 or 4 because I felt like it was right as we were moving. It's been a while. It's been a year. It's been at least a year since we've had a circle punch. And so I would say that it'd be great if Creative Memories would have another one. So yeah, Sunshine Mandala was a circle punch. And we'll see whether we get another one anytime soon. All right, everybody. Take care. We will get the email out. It'll have the Power Hour for next month's date on there. And then we'll have, I'm not sure if we'll have the Croptoberfest registration or not, but we'll get that out soon. All right. Take care. We'll see you all soon.